Hello and welcome to the Impending podcast. And Harry, what are you drinking?
You should know, mate. You gave me it.
Read the script.
Well, Sammy, it's nothing less than a refreshing 7-Up free lime.
Wow, how marvellous. This episode is sponsored by 7-Up. Live life, live 7-Up.
We're not sponsored by 7-Up.
You know, I was really hoping you'd just go along with it and then we wouldn't mention it ever again.
I wanted to clarify quickly, you know, I don't want us to turn into a bloody sketch show.
No, but it would have been so funny if we just made the speech about how much we love 7-Up and then gone along with the cast as usual and never mentioned it, so it seems legitimate.
To clarify, we do have 7-Up here. I'm going to drink it into the camera so you can hear what it tastes like.
Ooh, that was even more disgusting than it should have been.
Well, I was doing it particularly audibly in order to try and, you know, maybe they got a taste of lime.
Maybe, but it's actually surprisingly good. You know, not to be sponsored by 7-Up,
sponsored
free
by 7-Up
or anything. The great 7-Up's taste free of sugar.
Other 7-Ups are available.
But lime 7-Up is surprisingly nice, and as you heard there, it's got the great 7-Up taste, and it's free of sugar.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that should have been the slogan rather than live life, live 7-Up.
Hey man,
a slogan that you invented in preparation.
I came up in 5 seconds. It was pretty impressive, you gotta admit. Anyway, speaking of impressive, I don't know why I'm wearing these headphones. You're going to France.
I'm going to France tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. We're recording this podcast quite late again, as we have done for,
because Harry arrived 2 hours late.
2 hours late, more like I said that I was going to be coming later because
maybe
I was doing preparation for going to France.
What he said was, I'll be there in maybe an hour, which obviously I translated from Harry to English as I'll probably be there or very late, but to the casual, untrained eye, it does look like you were 1 hour or 2 hours late.
I meant an hour or more. Really.
Okay. Tell it to the judge.
An hour if I'm really quick, you know. That's what you should have translated.
You're gonna travel there quick, just like you're gonna travel to France.
Well, it's gonna be while traveling to France. The reason we're leaving at 6:30 in the morning is because we're not going to the north of France. We're going to the Loire Valley.
The what?
The Loire Valley.
The Loire Valley.
The Loire Valley.
Doesn't sound real, does it?
The Loire Valley.
If you think Harry's faking going to France to Sky before the podcast, leave a like down below.
I'm going to this part of France. It's called the Icona Valley. No, it's like 2/3 of the way down. So not South France, but I don't know the south of Middle France.
The Midlands.
The Midlands. It makes it sound just like what cities in the Midlands in England?
I don't care.
Me neither.
Point is. Harry's going.
It's going to take a while to drive down there because we're going to get one of those boats where you shove your car on it and then you drive. So we have to drive to there, get the boat across, and then drive down through France. So we have to leave really early tomorrow, and it's going to be a fucking long drive. Basically,
you should bring your Nintendo Switch.
I don't have a Nintendo Switch.
You should buy a Nintendo Switch. And
I'm bringing my Nintendo 3DS. A console that I've used about 85% of its kind of life on car journeys.
You should bring your Wii and then bring in like a power pack, like a car, plug it into the car battery.
There, like playing tennis.
Imagine how fun that would be. I know what I'm doing.
If I ever get in a car, if you ever get a limo, the first thing is like, now it's time to get a Wii.
It's time to plug in the Wii to the car battery.
Yes, it's time to plug in the Wii, lads. I've not been to France since I was like 2, so like, you know, in practicality, this is the first time I'm going there, so I'm excited. It should be really fucking hot.
Harry said that he's looking forward to getting a French girlfriend on the trip.
That's... I've not even said that as a joke. It's the sort of thing I'd say as a joke and you'd use it against me. You've just completely come up with that one. You know?
I'm joking, Evie.
Who listens to this usually? So that's good. So I said actually that I was looking forward to seeing the French countryside, but that just made me sound a bit how do I say this non-offensively?
Like a peeping Harry.
That's not what I meant. I was gonna say it makes me sound like a bit of a homosexual, and then I thought I should probably not. I should probably not say that. Actually,
Oh, it was so sad to find out that. I mean, I might have explained this to you. One of our dear friends is a raging homosexual. I mean, not.
This is terrible. You
A
can't
raging,
say that.
no, a raging homophobe. There we go.
Oh my god! It was terrible to find out that one of our friends was a raging homosexual. I was like, Christ!
Oh my god! No, he's a raging homophobe. Have I told you about this?
No.
Well, oh no.
Let's not dox him in any form.
Oh no, we're not going to. No. It was very upsetting. There are kinds of people where when you first meet them, they seem nice, and then the more you get to know them, you're like, that's strange. And then the dots start to connect, and you're like, oh, okay.
The dots start to connect, and they form a swastika.
Yeah. I'll have to tell you who it is after this, but one of our dear friends, who you probably don't talk to very much, not very progressive in his worldview, probably would be the kind of person to say raging homosexual, unironically and seriously.
You didn't say it ironically then, you
I
just said it
as a slip of the
accidentally.
tongue. I was just thinking of what I could say about him, but
There was a kid that went to our middle school that he also went to our high school, but he was like in a different band at high school.
is this Mr. No One?
This is Mr. No One.
Alright, good time.
And we had these CPR sessions.
Oh yeah.
You had to do it, and we had these dummies. You had to do it, and then breathe air into them.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "I'm not doing that. That's so gay. All of you are so gay for doing that. What do you want to make out of a dummy?" And I was like, "The fuck is this kid on?"
Never had a girlfriend. Maybe he's, trying to push
Maybe
suspicion on. Maybe he's just
projecting,
afraid.
you
He's
know?
projecting. He's afraid of being
we
judged.
think all of this nastiness is a defense mechanism. As the classic goes.
Yeah, it's just very sad.
How did we get on to homophobia from France?
Because you said that you wanted to see the French countryside.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's no need to repeat that one.
But it's just it is quite upsetting. Genuinely, joking aside, it's very upsetting when you think someone's really nice, and then you get to know them, and you've like gotten to know this person for like a while, and then they're like, yeah, I just really hate, and then they just say like any ethnic group, minority, and just anyone that's like not in the majority. You're like, well,
I mean,
guess I gotta stop talking to this person now.
I mean, I kind of have to be thankful these days that kind of racism is a small problem, considering that now most major world politicians are open racist. It's a pretty difficult one.
Boris Johnson is the Prime Minister. Segue. Not even one of the topics, but segue to that.
And it's barely even politics. It's more like entertainment. Boris Johnson, because he's a kind of.
I don't enjoy.
Even is he?
I don't enjoy talking about politics, especially on the podcast. But this man was endorsed by Donald Trump, and I think
it's just not a good sign, is it?
I don't think we need to explain any further.
He's the British version of Donald Trump. He's not quite.
He's even got the dumb hair.
Exactly. He's not quite as loony as Donald Trump, but Britain's not quite as loony as America. So it makes
balances
sense.
out.
Exactly.
It's still as weird for us.
He is to us what he is to them. That's just a kind of depressing point there.
So there we go. The world's full of racists, bigots, and homophobes. Watch out, kids.
Watch out, kids. What's on the list?
France. When you come back is the main point.
Oh yeah, I'm coming back on Monday,
and we film these on Sundays.
Yeah, so it's not tomorrow. I'm gonna come back in 8 days from now. So I'm going to be away for the Sunday where we film it next week. I'm going to miss it by a day.
Well, I hope you're looking forward to me talking to myself. And
you could manage that.
I hate that. I was genuinely considering it, and then I also considered how many people would like to listen to that, and it started to
dwindle very quickly. Bit of an oxymoron.
But hopefully we can get some people on. I have some people in mind. We can discuss it maybe later.
Tell you what, you could probably get Charlie Dox's surname on, because I wouldn't be here to take up all the space.
That's a good point. I could get Charlie on. That's a good point. I could get Charlie. There are a few people I want to try out though.
Keep your options.
I could have 2 guests. All right,
that would be absolutely crazy.
I'm gonna
Can you
try
imagine that? That'd be like 2 things happening.
I'm
gonna
gonna try and get Charlie on, and I'm gonna try and get another person on, and we're gonna have a guest cast.
Guest cast.
Guest cast.
Alright, guys, the bottle episode.
This is episode 6.5.
So yeah, that's going to be a kind of special episode whilst I'm away. Of course, it won't be that special because I won't
you'll be missing,
here.
and you're obviously the very special part of this team.
It's getting worse as it goes on. This. The other thing we were going to talk about was the parties exchange, which it sounds really confusing unless you've got context of what we're talking about.
So, funny story, we actually exchange political parties. So now, I'm part of the Labour Party, and Harry's part of the British Defence League, so...
I bet that's a real thing.
It is, like...
English Defence League.
Sorry.
Because they don't want those bloody Scottish in their party.
Oh.
Or the Welsh.
Great.
Bloody Welsh.
More hate groups, but no,
It's birthday parties.
Yeah, yesterday I went to someone's mum's birthday party, and Harry went to his sister's...
Right,
Harry went to Harry's sister's birthday party.
I stayed at home, and
there happened to be a birthday party around you.
I did attend the party. I washed, I drank, I spoke to people. But it was, I know. That's the first time I've washed since the last party.
I didn't bother washing for the party. I haven't washed in 6 years. But
you didn't have to tell me. I could.
It's a very small room.
Smell the difference.
One downside of quickly while we're on this subject of smell, one downside of this room with all the echo-proof tiles is we had to use a lot of glue for the echo-proof tiles. So now as soon as you step in the room,
smells of glue.
Yeah, the wave of glue just hits you, and if you're not ready for it,
you'll just become intoxicated with the glue. But no, it was my sister's party yesterday because it was her birthday on Wednesday. 21st, so she's...
Wow, in America she can drink.
Exactly. She's in every way an adult now.
Except mentally.
Nice. Technically, I don't think she can drive lorries till 25.
Oh no.
But she can adopt a child, I think.
I'm sure she's very upset about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what everyone's crying about. It's kind of... Yesterday was a busy day for me because I started off doing 8 till 2 at work.
Oh.
And then so I had to get up at like 6:30 for that.
Oh God.
Are you
feeling alright?
I'm feeling
your weak constitution has been challenged.
Still quite tired, but we'll get back to the tired thing actually later.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because I've got a point on that. But no, and then after that, I went straight to my dad's house, and I had to practice Brainstorm by Arctic Monkeys.
Oh, that's exciting. Is that for your band?
Or? Yeah, because we had band right after, and I hadn't really practiced Brainstorm, and I had to know it. Luckily, I'm an expert, and 1.5 hours, I pretty much had it.
He's an expert, he's handsome, he's single.
Okay, not a single word of that's true. But it's especially uncomfortable when you go around doing that to people that we don't know very well. No, it was supposed to be Brainstorm by Arctic Monkeys and Total Football, and I already knew Total Football, so that wasn't a problem.
Oh yeah,
went to the band session, they were like, "You ready for Brainstorm, guys?" And we played that, and none of them had practiced Total Football, which in my opinion is a much better song.
So you got away with telling them off instead?
No, I was able to play Brainstorm, but I would have liked to play more Total Football, but it was alright, because Brainstorm's still alright. But then went straight from that to our mum's. Well, not straight from that. Evie, my girlfriend, was supposed to come to the party later on, but she felt really sick, so she couldn't come. So she was gonna bring a cake that we had both made for my sister.
That cake's still downstairs, isn't it?
Part of that cake is downstairs. I offered you a slice and you were like, maybe later. Apparently it's good. I haven't tried it actually. But no, we picked that up and then went to my mum's. And then it was my sister's party, and bloody hell she had put the effort in. There was loads of stuff there. There was like balloons. I mean, I've never seen someone commend their own birthday so much.
I mean, obviously, while it holds no legal, use, being 21 is kind of exciting. I guess it does have the cultural significance. It's a big age still, and I guess if you go to another country, then you've got a lot more rights, and there is some more increase in rights in the UK. I would have thought that 17 is more interesting, because that's when you get crowned the dancing queen. So I know personally, I'm looking forward.
18 is traditionally the age.
No,
not where you get crowned the dancing queen, but where you can.
Yeah, well, according to ABBA, 17 is when you get crowned the dancing queen. because you're young and sweet, only 17. Oh no, you can dance, you can jive, having the time of your life. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to being crowned the dancing queen when I'm 17. And then once you're 17, you progressively go through the years as the dancing queen. So I think that's really the milestone I want to hit. But I can understand that, you know,
from a legal
21 does have like
perspective,
a cultural significance.
21 is, you know, not as good as 17, obviously, for dancing queen related reasons, but it's still a big one. There was all the classics there. It's funny because she's been throwing these parties for like every year for like a few years now. So there's like a few like classic people, you know, the inner circle that are always there.
Is there like people who always change, or do you ever see someone one year and you're like, they're not going to be back next year?
Probably. You know, there's the kind of people that go in and out. It's funny, one of the people that was there, that's like been there for all the years. Well, two of them actually were, because I can't dox their second names, but I'll dox their first names. Is Hayden and Big Rick.
Big Rick.
Everyone
first name Big, last name Rick. You just doxed him. Nice
everyone
job.
calls him Big Rick. And basically they live right around the corner from each other, so they're really good friends. And a few months ago they went on a holiday together, and Hayden like lost his phone on like the first day. And a few days in, Big Rick got mugged by a guy with a knife. and
are they members of a sitcom?
I mean, they seem like it.
Hayden and Big Rick.
And the guy with the knife,
Take you to New York.
the guy with the knife was like, "Give me your money," and he was like, "I haven't got any money. That's why I'm going back to the hotel." And he had like 20 cents in him. He wasn't lying. So the guy was like, "Alright then, give me your phone." And then Hayden had already lost his phone, so Big Rick was just like, "Nah mate, I'm not giving you my phone." And he got cut across the chest with a knife.
Oh my god.
Like horizontally across his chest. And he thought, how can I make this into a cool thing? So he used the chest as an underline for a tattoo which says Big Rick across his chest.
That is so cool. What?
Isn't that cool? Kind of crazy.
Did he lose the phone after he got cut across his chest?
Maybe.
That'd be more cool if he just stood there and took it as
I mean, he's quite a physically imposing guy.
He's called Big Rick.
Exactly.
I feel like you wouldn't mess with Big Rick if he's got... That guy's going to see him and he's going to be like, oh no, I've only made him stronger.
Yeah, I know.
What do you do if you recognise your mugger just like in
Awkward
Tesco's? Like you're waiting in a queue.
You're gonna be like,
you're waiting in a queue and you turn around and you're like, hang on a sec, I know this guy.
that happens in Peep Show actually.
Do you just like deck him or what?
He gets mugged by these kids and he sees them at the cinema. But he's like kind of too awkward.
I feel... What would you do, Harry, if someone mugged you at knife point and then the next day you were waiting in line at Tesco's and there was a really long line, so you weren't in any rush to start putting your shopping down, but the person behind you was your mugger? What would you do?
Nothing.
You would do nothing?
That's probably might stab me or get one of their criminal mates to stab me.
What, they're just waiting in line, they've got like a box of chocolates for their mum in there.
And I'm like, ooh, going running to mummy, are you? I haven't told you that me and my brother do that with my younger siblings sometimes, because obviously they're really young and they do say mummy. We're like, ooh, we're gonna go running to mummy. It's like a sarcastic thing, but it doesn't make sense because they actually do call it that. Like, rightly so. No, I wouldn't want to get hurt, and then I wouldn't want to like call the police and be like, that guy mugged me, because then, I mean, whose proof is there really except my testimony? And then if they get off, they'll probably come around and mug me every day just to piss me off and or stab me.
But you'd run out of money, so they wouldn't be able to mug you.
I'd feel like a right mug.
I feel like, I don't know, I would definitely get killed and beaten up, but I would be very upset with them in an angry way.
I would be really upset. I'm very upset with you, he said angrily.
I would get a half-drank can of 7-Up free lime TM.
And you pour it
and
on the floor and say, look at this wastage. You'd have to watch it.
You could have drank this divine liquid, but instead it's going on the floor.
I wouldn't give that to you if I got £1 million from it.
But my party, well, you haven't actually talked about your party, have you, other than it was very extravagant? How were the people? Was they fun?
Yeah, no,
Was anyone your age?
It was pretty good. No, well, not really, no. Everyone was, like, I think at least 3 years older than me. But my brother's friends I know pretty well. Especially Ethan.
I'm in a band, yeah, a band with Ethan.
He's kind of the singer and rhythm guitarist in the band. So, of course, I know him. And then the others I've just Sorry, my throat is like. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, got 7-Up free. It's great. I know them all pretty well. They all kind of like left about 12 to go clubbing because classic for them it's like pre-drinks, but I'm not old enough. One of the people there was like 23 years old. And he was like, "Oh mate, you coming clubbing with us then?" And I was like, "Nah, don't think so,
I think I'll stay home and play video games."
He's like, "Why not?" And I'm like, "I'm 16." He's like, "Oh, are you? Oh, that's tough luck, that is."
Tough luck.
And I was drinking water, and he was like, "Oh, you on the water, mate?" And I was like, "Yep."
That's me. It's vinegar.
I had quite a lot by that point, so I wanted to kind of, cool down with some water. But I mean. I always drink water before I go to sleep, and then I've never had a hangover, so that works pretty well.
I don't drink, so I never had a hangover because I'm boring.
Well, anyone could have told you that. And then this morning I had
a hangover.
Yeah, I never had a hangover. Anyway, my head feels terrible. No,
I think I'm coming down with a flu.
This morning I had this incredible big English breakfast. Because I think it was, like a pep up for everyone in the house who did have a hangover. On my breakfast, I had 2 corn sausages because I'm a soy boy.
You are a soy boy.
Fun fact, I heard
Harry purely eats soy.
I heard someone unironically reference someone as a soy boy last night.
As they should.
I had 2 corn sausages. I had 2 fried eggs. I had fried mushrooms. I had bread and butter, and I had cheese toasties.
That's not bad. That is not bad.
Pretty boss meal.
Anything else to add, or may I? May I take the wheel?
You may take the wheel. Don't crash the car, please. God, I'm funny.
This is why people think you force jokes for the podcast, but in reality, you just
don't crash the car. You're gonna take the wheel.
It's good. Me and Harry actually have a list of jokes that we can just say at any given time.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, read one off, Harry. Harry, just read one off right now.
24.
Yeah, just read the top one.
This is one. It says brackets naturally work this one in. So that's obviously, just see how that happens. It says my family told me to stop standing on one leg. I had to put my foot down. That's a good one.
Oh, okay. I'll read the next one.
That's no, I've read that one wrong.
Oh, okay. Oh.
My family told me to stop acting like a flamingo. I had to put my foot down.
Right.
You want to know the worst part about that?
These are just coming off the top of Harry's head. I'm actually quite surprised.
The worst part about that is, obviously that isn't written down. I was supposed to just come up with that on the spot. And the joke is, my family told me to stop acting like a flamingo. I had to put my foot down. I tried to come up with it on the spot, but sound like I was reading it. Instead, I butchered the joke and then had to try and roll with it. And the worst part is anyone who knows me knows that I've used that joke 1,000 times at any situation where I have to tell a conventional joke, and yet I still butchered it and I had to tell it twice, and then once more to explain it. All I'm saying is that was a terrible experience, and I'm very sweaty.
It reminds me of 2 things. It reminds me of this person who is being interviewed by this comedian had met another celebrity, and it was some old celebrity who's got a very strange sense of humour, and they said that they were a comedian, and the celebrity said to tell them a joke on the spot, and the comedian was like, and then the celebrity was like, yeah, not that funny, are you? But that reminded me of a situation that happened to Archie in real life. We went to, there's this really popular sort of Halloween fun fair event that happens every Halloween. I can't remember what it's called, it'll come to me probably, but I don't care. But this lady, she was going around in this big extravagant costume, and she came up to us and she started talking to us in character, blah blah blah. It's all part of the atmosphere. But she was like, yes, and wow, so you like to be the funny one, do you? To Archie, because he was telling jokes and stuff. And then she was like, tell me a joke, and he was like, and then she was like, that's what I thought. And it was like, oh my god.
It's better to not be able to tell a joke than to try and tell one and to butcher it and have everyone going and be like, I don't understand.
I think if I don't have one immediately prepared, I'll just be like, no, sorry, I can't. You can't put me on the spot like this.
But that's the on the spot joke I've been using for years. So obviously it was right off the top of my head.
Apparently not.
It was trying to remember it quickly and act it out, maybe fail it. I think I actually stole it off a guy from Come Dine With Me. Which is the
That is
eternal,
not something you want
the
to
eternal shame of that joke. And the narrator made fun of him for telling it.
Why is that the joke he chose? If even the "Come Dine With Me" narrator is mocking someone.
Yeah, I know, he's the one that should get mocked, but like, I listened to it and I was like, ha, that's a nice conventional joke if I've ever heard one. I'm having that.
Anyway, my party
your party.
that I went to
move on.
wasn't my party. It was Jamie's mum's party.
What a legend.
And she is a legend. She threw an absolutely fantastic party. She baked brownies. She gave us food.
I think she's baked brownies before, and Jamie took them to Jazz's.
Oh, I think I remember. I vaguely remember. I remember Emma always makes cookies.
Pro baker. Oh yeah, no, Emma did. Emma kind of outclassed me on that one because I brought one of my signature lemon drizzle cakes to Jazz's.
Oh, and she brought her home baked French patisserie like cookies.
And you know, they could have been like an equal match, but Jazz like took the cake to like put away
and then just forgot about it for like a week.
Did she?
Well, she like took your plate for like actually months. Remember?
Yeah, well, no, that's different. The plate.
Oh, okay.
But no, because Emma's one, people could just eat there.
Yeah, that's a good point. So
everyone was
like, "Oh my god, this is
like
so
Emma,
good.
You're so good at this," and I was like, "Oh, I'm actually good as well. It's just in the kitchen." I didn't say that, but it's what I felt like.
This concerns me. Can you pay attention, please?
Please pay me attention. I'm fantastic.
I baked a cake. But
to continue on with your party.
So it was
rather than that sidetrack.
A party / sleepover.
It's a sleepover.
We had a real gal night. We talked about bad horror films and Megamind. We watched Megamind, but the party itself. It was like an adult party because it's someone's mum, so she had her friends round and they all chatted, and Jamie's dad did a barbecue. It was really nice. He made burgers and stuff, and they had so many weird sauces. It was great.
Have you ever tried reggae sauce?
No, I haven't.
It's from Levi Roots. He went on Dragon's Den and he presented them with reggae sauce, and he sang a song to like introduce it famously, and He gets the numbers so terribly wrong. He's like, I've got 1 billion units of this, or something like that. And they're like, you've said this, that clearly doesn't make sense, and it's really awkward. But no, he did manage to like get one of them in on it, and now it's really famous, and it's in like every big Tesco.
Well, there we go. I guess it paid off, didn't it?
And it's really good.
Well, no, I'll have to put that on my list, but we basically,
list.
there was a tent up outside and we just sat in the tent and played on my Switch, because the good thing about a Nintendo Switch is it's portable, it's handheld, and it's easy for friends and family.
You've got one right there.
I've got one right there.
You were playing it when I came into the room.
Start playing it right now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start playing it right now, but I could. That's the versatility of it.
Technically, but you're not going to. But you could do.
But I could, exactly.
But I'm not going to.
The possibility is always there. But yeah, I had Smash Bros on the Switch, so people took turns, and at this point in the
always
party,
bring Smash Bros to a party.
there was because it was me, Johnny, Jamie, and Olivia, and Johnny and Olivia were literally playing that game until Olivia left at like 10 past midnight. Because they were so into it, and the thing is it was just really interesting to see, because Olivia's like someone's mum. She's like, "Oh, I'm going to go watch Love Island and have a prosecco."
I was going to say, I want to see what that's like.
Yeah, she put on her reading glasses, although I think they didn't actually have lenses in. I think that was just a joke.
Did they have a little chain going down the side?
No, but actually, Olivia would be someone who's good to get on the car, so we probably shouldn't badmouth her too much. We're not badmouthing her. We're just kind of.
She's great. She's
just
kind of. She just got some kind of like old woman aspects to her.
like an anti-Dylan kind of.
Well, Dylan is not like a young man.
Oh well, like a mirrored Dylan.
Like a mirror Dylan.
Dylan is someone who's like he's a 60-year-old in a 16-year-old's body. It's quite fascinating.
I like how you got the 6 symmetry in there. That was good. He wore waistcoats for a long time.
He did, and he referred to it as a dark period in his life.
I was like, "You're going to wear a waistcoat for prom?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "What? How are you not going to wear it for prom? That's the time when you're supposed to wear formal clothes." And he was like, "I don't want to go back to that." It brings back too much.
It's got trauma.
It scarred me. So that was a weird one for Dylan.
But yeah, then Olivia went home, and we decided to just camp out in the lounge instead, because it was warmer and comfier. And the problem with camping out in the lounge is you fall asleep a lot quicker because it's warmer and comfier. But the upside is that it's a lot warmer and comfier. So we really had to weigh our pros and cons.
Was the lounge warmer and comfier?
Yes, it was warmer and comfier.
Was that one of the pros and or cons of the
Yes,
living room?
because anyway, so we went on Netflix and we were looking through films to watch, and we saw this film advertised called Awaken the Shadow Man, and so this is one of our things on the list that I've got.
Yeah, it says Awaken the Shadow Man, and then the is underlined in green, and Shadow Man is underlined in red.
I thought they're both underlined in red.
So no, well, you're red-green colourblind.
I didn't even know there was a green underline. But here's a quick tip if you're going to watch Awaken the Shadow Man. Don't. It's so boring. I know this is another Logan Lucky.
I mean, I know that when you hear the name Awaken the Shadow Man, you think that sounds like a smashing film. I'm going to go watch that.
It was advertised really well. The picture is so creepy. It's like this man that's made out of shadow, obviously, but he's got really long fingers, and it's like him like coming around the corner, like kind of like my sleep paralysis demon,
Oh,
you know?
so it's kind of like a oh, what did you call him? Like Jeff
Carl
or something? Oh,
and
Carl.
Alfredo, because they were
That's
the two
it.
least threatening names in the world. Anyway,
It's
so
like-
it's like
like
this
a
horrible,
Slender Man,
yeah, it's like a
like,
horrible
kinda
Slender Man
creepy
kind of
thing.
shadow creature that was like reaching around a corner, and I was like, that'd be really like interesting. Like maybe it can only get you in the dark, and so then they've got to play around different lights and that kind of thing. It doesn't do anything. It's just a metaphor. I think it's like it's like
every
a demon.
movie is great when you talk about the synopsis and you go, and in the end it turned out this. I think.
Well, it didn't actually do anything. There was this like sacrificial cult to it, who would sacrifice like babies to it, and in the end, after they sacrificed the babies, then the Shadow Man would come and take it away. But that was the only time the Shadow Man actually like interacted with anything, because any other time the Shadow Man turned up, there would be a really suspenseful scene of the Shadow Man lurking behind them, and you think, oh my god, he's going to do something. But instead, he just stands there and watches them, and then it goes on to the next scene. And so the Shadow Man...
Or if it's actually just like a kind of sad ghost that like just looks at them, it's like,
maybe.
oh, it's just so sad. And when he gets given these babies, like, I'm going to bring this guy up and make him into a better life.
For all these like creepy like appearances of the Shadow Man, he doesn't do anything. He literally never does anything. He never does a single thing. The main villain is the sacrificial cult.
Is it a spin-off of Don't Starve?
No, don't. No one's gonna know what you're talking about.
There's a character in Don't Starve called Charlie, if you know the lore, and
if it becomes dark, then it kills you.
Yeah, because it like attacks you. And sometimes when you have campfires, a hand will reach out from the darkness and try and snuff out your campfire to plunge.
Well, that's more than the Shadow Man did. The Shadow Man, he's a big shadowy figure. Whatever.
You
and
tried
he's
to do
got
some kind of gesture of your hand to like figure something
no,
out.
No, that was me like doing what he does. And his four fingers, other than his thumbs.
Oh, I see. That's what you're demonstrating.
Are massive talons, and you're like, ooh, this is interesting.
It sounds cool.
And then
I reckon I would have watched it.
And he never uses them. He never uses them, and it's interesting because those fingers are what reach around the door to let you know he's like there, kinda. And so I'm like, oh, this is really cool. It's like some like entity that they have to try and avoid and use the light against. But he doesn't show up, and he never actually does anything other than take the babies away, which is why I think he's not even real, and he's just a metaphor for like this demon cult.
He's not even real. He's just like paranoia. He's just a regular shadow.
The thing is, the film's called Awaken the Shadow Man. It's like a 15, just for no reason. Because you know how on the top left on Netflix it says like warnings,
yeah,
and it says like, oh, gore, violence, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I know that.
On the top,
I love it when you start watching a show and this whole
like the whole top of the screen
paragraph drops down.
Yeah. But for the top left, it just said strong threat, and I thought, oh, that's weird. There's no violence, just strong threat.
There's a consistently strong threat and nothing else.
The most violent
threat that never comes to fruition.
Exactly. Nothing even happens to any of the
like
characters.
How the synopsis of the film is summarised in the warnings.
The only character that presumably dies is the baby that gets taken away.
And who cares about babies? They're not real characters.
But the thing is, it's not even like the Shadow Man took the baby, because the cult took the baby, and then they offered it to the Shadow Man, and the Shadow Man just happened to be there and just picked him up and was like, okay, and then went away. It doesn't make any sense. And then the film ends with the guy sitting in a room with like a conspiracy theory
Is the Shadow Man
thing.
only on walls, or like?
No, he's like he exists in a 3D space, but he's like made out of shadows.
How does he work in a 3D fashion? Is he like a 2D thing? Is he like a big paper creature?
No, he's 3D.
Is he like funnels? Is he
imagine
like
cylindrical
arms?
No, imagine like a really smooth mannequin, so with no facial features or anything, and like a kind of circular head, right?
Oh.
And then it's just human.
So is it kind of like...
It's exactly like a human, but like a silhouette.
Is it a guy in a black jumpsuit, basically?
Well, no, because you can see through him, because he's a shadow.
Oh. Is it a guy in a green jumpsuit?
Yeah, it's a man in a green jumpsuit that's been edited to look like a shadow.
Wow.
But he just... The most violence in that film, and it's the last thing I will say, because we don't want another 15-minute Logan Lucky situation.
Is it a guy in a black jumpsuit?
Is
it a guy in a green jumpsuit? Yes.
The most violence that happens in that film is from the main character's brother hitting one of the cult leaders over the head with a wooden pole, which knocks him out, and then the police come and they have to run away from the police. That is the most violence that happens in a film about a
stick, and he's knocked out, and they're like, "Shit, the police!"
No, you don't even. You're not even. You're not even kidding. You're not even that far off. The guy's brother.
The cult murders babies.
The cult leader is like a mechanic, right? And he has all these.
All cult leaders.
He has all these metal cutting tools, and he starts like revving one of them, like as if there was going to be some high cost like fight scene that they clearly didn't have the budget for.
It's like the classic kind of like revving the chainsaw, but it's like of a metal cutting.
Yeah, and then the brother just knocks him out, and then the main character's like, "What the hell is wrong with you? How could you do that?" And I was like, it's so. I think
we gotta get out of here.
There were clearly points. There were clearly points where they wanted to have something interesting happen. They just didn't have the budget for it.
Well, you got to give him credit for that. Was there any point where the Shadow Man was awakened?
I presume
as
when
the babies awaken the Shadow Man.
I presume when the babies were sacrificed to him.
Is he like sleeping most of the time?
Well, no, because
the cult people ring the bell and he's like,
what? He was there throughout the whole film.
Oh shit, baby time.
The film was an hour.
Not that funny.
It's pretty funny. But yeah, the film was an hour and 15 minutes, and the Shadow Man is probably in like 20 minutes of that, like 20 solid minutes, and he doesn't do a single thing throughout the whole film other than follow people around.
Constantly big threat.
Like he would just stand against a wall, and you'd see one bit of the wall is slightly darker than all the rest, and you'd be like, and then it would move, and you'd be like, ooh, it's the Shadow Man.
I spotted him.
Like it was smart, but he just didn't do anything. It was so boring. So. End of Awaken the Shadow Man. Don't watch it. It's so boring. Watch a good horror film like The Thing, 1982.
There was a horror. I don't think it was a film. It was like a.
May I please finish talking about the party sequel?
Sorry.
Then we watched Megamind.
Get back to my horror thing.
Then we watched Megamind, and it was fantastic as always. Go watch Megamind. Go ahead.
Great film.
Go ahead, great film.
Is that the end of your party scene?
Yeah, it's the end of
okay.
And then and then James' dad made me a bacon roll in the morning, and then he took me home as well.
Crazy.
It's whack.
That's whack, dude.
So thank you, Wendy and Kev as well, and Jamie for your lovely breakfast and dinner and party.
Anyway, my mum showed me this horror thing once. It wasn't a film. It was too short for that. I'll just call it a video because I don't know what else to call it, even though it was like professionally produced. It was like a show, like a special, where it was like longer than an episode or something, and there's only one of it. And it was this whole thing where this guy was like staying in this hotel, which was like rumoured to be haunted or whatever. And like at night, well, the hotel had no number 13.
Oh, that's spooky.
And like,
it's 13. It's the scary
and
number.
like at night, he'd like get up and come back, and when he came back, like the number 13 door was there, like in the spot where there was nothing in the day.
It's like Doctor Who.
So he'd like go into it, and it's this like creepy empty room, and like in his own room, because he was next to where that room was supposed to be.
You would just ask to change the room, wouldn't you?
He would, yeah. He would like hear noises from it and stuff. And I was like, man, this is intriguing. What's in the room? He can only go there at night. He hears noises and stuff. And then it ended. And I was like, what's that there? And my mum was like, oh, that's the great thing about these shows, is that they don't have an ending. And I was like, what?
That's so bad.
Exactly. I was like, you know, it's somehow so bad, but the reason it's bad is because it was really good, but there was no ending.
Well, it's like an English writing prompt where they give you some kind of mystery, like, no, strange noises come out at night. But instead of there being a story that you're supposed to follow it up with, it's just done. That's the whole thing.
I mean, it was just really well made, and it was creepy, but that was it.
That's the thing, that the Shadow Man was creepy, but that was it. He didn't do anything.
I mean, the Shadow Man had an ending, though, right?
Kind of. It was just the man.
What happened to the Shadow Man?
Well, basically, this guy's kid got sacrificed, and everyone in the town, including his wife, joined this cult. And then, yeah, and then it cuts to him like 3 months later or something, and he's sitting in this caravan where this conspiracy lady had been like, I've connected the dots, it's this death cult or whatever. And he's sitting in the same caravan, and there's loads of loads of photographs that he's printed out on the walls, all connected by red string. and then there's like a picture of his baby, and it's like, don't give up, and then it just ends.
Well,
I don't know if they're expecting Unrated to do really well and get like loads for the sequel.
Ending. It's more of an ending than the bloody like Room 13 hotel one had. That was just kind of that was cold, just chopped you off. Like, you know, I mean, my one wasn't on there, but actually I've got a real life horror story.
God, go
still
ahead.
Gone on the horror.
Go ahead. Yeah, sure, why not? This is a Halloween episode.
It's not Halloween. Release it at Halloween.
According to shops, it is. Go ahead, don't question it, go ahead.
Sure. I mean, it's somewhat of a horror story, more just a horror themed talking. No, we went to stay in this house in France when we were really young. So this
I'm just trying to tell her to speak
pointing at the audio, telling like, speak into the microphone, you prick.
He's covering his hand.
Oh yeah, I have my mouth like
You're doing it again. You're doing it again.
I was demonstrating, you know. To whom?
Horror story.
So yeah, it was. This was a long time ago. I can't massively remember it, but I can remember what the essentials were like, and I've been filled in. We went to stay in this house in France, and it was like a kind of creepy mansion, kind of somewhat in the countryside.
What if you go and stay in the same place?
Well, we won't this time. But we did go and stay there twice. But it was, and it had a pigsty connected to it.
It's never a good start.
That was empty, and it had a room of dolls. And it had a long kind of creaky corridor upstairs, where it had like 2 bedrooms at one end, and then all the way down the other was another bedroom.
You would not want to be in that bedroom, would you?
Tell you what, me and my brother were in one of the rooms. The room next to it, my parents were in, and then all the way down the end was my sister on her own.
Did she draw the short straws on? Was there kind of some deciding process?
I think it was just because, you know, the other 2 could be in 2s, and, you know, she can be on her own, independent, gets her own room. Lucky her.
That's actually terrifying.
At night, one of the times, the power went off, and at the same time, her battery-powered radio went off as well.
Oh, that's scary.
And obviously, there's no way it could have gone off from the power because it was battery-powered. And she just, like, freaked out in that room. And then my dad took pity on her and went down the corridor to go and get her. Also, my dad said that he... apparently, every night in that house at 1 o'clock, he heard someone knock on the door.
That's complete crazy. Just trying to scare you. It's just trying to scare you.
He's not the sort of person that would try to scare us, but he's the sort of person that would get scared and accidentally kind of dream that up.
Oh, right.
Like,
okay.
It's not. It didn't actually happen.
But in his mind.
In his mind, he was scared of that. And after the first time staying there, we went back the second time.
Why would you go back?
And my dad was like, "Oh, this place always really scared me," you know. And my mom was like, "Why the hell did you make us come back here then? Why the hell did you let me do that?"
That's a solid point.
I mean, it's a very solid point. But no, that was a really weird one.
You're the person.
We always said knock 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 at 1 o'clock. That's what my dad said.
You guys are like the family in the horror film where they move into a house and it's very clearly haunted. And they're like, maybe this will be a fresh start for us. And they will get
it's going to be great to stay here.
Oh wow.
Let's not move out.
Hey kids, I know it's hard moving out of the big city, but I think you'll come to really like it here.
That's a classic. In a few years, I'm going to make a horror film where they move into a really creepy house and creepy things start happening and they go, you know what, I find this house uncomfortable. Let's move back into a more populated area. Then they move and the film ends.
The real horror was the price of moving all their furniture.
Yeah, the real horror was house prices. Britain, 2019.
You know, not on the list. We might. I mean,
none of this shit is on the list.
None of this shit is on the list. But
you gotta get to it, man.
no, I'm not gonna get to it. Say another topic.
Well, we've got on.
I remember the real horror. The real horror
here we go.
is housing prices. Genuinely, by the time people our age, so we're 16 now. By the time that we're supposed to buy a house, at like 25-ish, is the kind of societal expectation, or 20s when like a lot of people are like, you should move out, but they're slowly getting older because housing prices.
I moved out the moment I was old enough to.
Exactly, that's like the stereotype.
Lucky you, Grandad.
But housing prices are so high now.
It's crazy. I think really the best option is to move abroad and buy a house there.
Well, the problem is just anywhere that's anywhere has really expensive housing, which means that yes, you can get a really nice
North America.
You can get a really that's the thing. You can get a really nice house in like Ohio in America that's like a mansion for pennies, but unfortunately there's no other buildings in Ohio, just potato fields, so really you're doomed.
Nah, because my uncle lives in Canada and he's got a really nice house and it was a reasonable price and it's in like the suburbs, you know.
Downside, he's in Canada.
Oh, Canada's great. Canada's, I think, a really good place to move. Scandinavia as well. I'm not sure about how prices is there, but can't be that much worse than the
I've
UK.
heard Romanian real estate is actually quite good.
That was just be from Darius trying to propagate the Romanian propaganda. But no, anyway, house prices. Sorry, we're going to move on. And you
it's just
interrupted.
that our economy, we're doomed.
Talking about house,
because our houses are expensive.
We are doomed.
If you think you're never going to be able to afford a house, put a comment down below. There we go. Had a bit of a stutter there.
Finally, we'll have some comments down below.
We get comments.
Anyone who doesn't own a
people.
house. On the list, we've got Game of Thrones because I'm 2 episodes away from finishing it.
And I've read some of the books, so go ahead.
Which means I'm on the bad season. I thought the first 2 episodes were alright, but I'm definitely feeling it now.
I think I read up to A Dance of Dragons Part 1.
How far through is that?
It's like the 6th book. And
fucking hell, there was commitment there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just gets really repetitive, and you don't get attached to any of the characters because they'll just die. So, like, if you don't like Jon Snow, who's kind of the main character, who's the guy who lives, like, compared to everyone else, as far as I'm aware, because, you know, haven't finished them, you know, you're kind of stuffed, and I didn't really like Jon. So
I like Jon. Who the hell doesn't like Jon?
I mean, going through people who are still alive, just to try and give you an idea of where I am in relation, or where I was in relation to the,
Try to
TV
keep the
show.
spoilers to a relative low.
I'll just say an event that happened. They stayed at this like inn place, I think, or maybe it was like a house, and it turned out this guy was like giving children to the White Walkers to turn into White Walkers.
Yeah, no.
How long ago was that?
That's in like series 2 or 3.
So I've read up to series 2 or 3. So
it might be at a different point. So I think maybe they go back there at some point as well.
No, it was the first one I went there, I'm pretty sure. Because the guy was weird, and they're like, oh, this guy's weird.
But that's when they go north of the wall, isn't it? On the expedition.
Yeah, so
Jon and the rest of the crows.
That's how far I am, if that's any help.
That was a long time ago. But the show, obviously, it goes off rails and does its kind of own thing.
Ooh, that's so wacky.
Was kind of roughly following pointers from the writers, and it results in a bit of a mess.
Especially near the end where they try and wrap up like 2 books worth of stuff in one season.
I think it's more than that.
In 6 episodes.
Like, I think really Game of Thrones and Dexter, they both have 8 seasons. And
neither of which I've watched.
They both have the exact same kind of rating thing, which is that the first 4 seasons are great, series 5, 6 and 7 are okay, and series 8 is terrible.
It's like Community. Except there's only 6 seasons. And
6
no
seasons
movie.
and a movie.
And no movie.
The Community is like, I mean, it definitely goes downhill because
it's still good.
All of the cast leave, but I mean, I'd watch it if there's only Jeff. Like,
but for those of you that don't know, the joke for Community is that one of the characters is a bit of a nerd, a bit of a geek, and a bit of a neek. That's a real thing that people say. There's a combination of nerd and geek. Yeah.
That's a bit of a niche.
I don't know why they didn't go with Gerd. But
I didn't go gherkin.
But he's a bit of a geek, and he says that the ideal length for a TV show is 6 seasons in a movie. And so the joke for Community was that there was going to be 6 seasons in the movie.
But it's not just that.
And then there was 5
when,
seasons.
When it got cancelled, like all the fans kept saying 6 seasons in a movie, 6 seasons in a movie, and then they put it back in the show as well when Arved shouts that as he like runs away from one of the things.
Yeah, there was 5 there was 5 seasons, and then the show got cancelled, and it got bought by Amazon. And then they didn't make a movie. They just made a 6th kind of disappointing season.
Wasn't the 5th series? That was, what was that? That weird website. It's like a rival to Netflix.
Hulu.
Hulu. Yeah.
Oh, it was Hulu, not Amazon.
Well, every time someone picks it up and they're like, "We're gonna make a success out of this," then it absolutely bleeds money, and then someone else picks it up. We're gonna do it this time. It bleeds money again. I mean, I do love it, but it's not a financially successful choice to make. I think. Like,
because no one uses Hulu. If it went onto Netflix, if stuff went onto Netflix, like they picked it up, it would go well. I'm pretty sure it's actually happened a couple times.
With like Netflix, if they like advertised it and put it all front screens, everyone would love Community. It's on Channel 4 now, I think.
Wow.
They picked it up and you can watch it all there for free. Watch it on Channel 4. It's absolute class.
This episode is also sponsored by Channel 4. Channel 4, express yourself.
My dad's got a TV where you can watch Channel 4 stuff on there, so I can just watch Community on
you can watch Channel 4 on your TV
whenever I want, and it's crazy, man. But I mean, like, almost at the end of the 6th series, they had to tell people why they shouldn't make any more, right? 'Cause I think maybe they're.
I think they listed off every season there was like a paintball episode, and they're like, we've had 6 paintball episodes now. We've had like one that was a dream, one that was like a VR game, one that was like cowboy themed.
But then, like that whole final episode was all like how many cast members were leaving, and they were like, God, wouldn't it be terrible if we still did more of this? So, like, I mean, maybe the fans are so committed they really have to tell people not to do it.
I think Donald Glover was the first one to go.
I think
was it the lady
Shirley.
That's
I didn't even notice she was gone for about 6 episodes. but no, she was good, but she kind of was. She had a low profile. You could forget.
I think the way that I think they got rid of her in a way that didn't seem very like complete. So you're like, oh, maybe she's coming back, so it didn't seem like this big deal. But no,
well, she was just like kind of like, oh, by the way, I'm leaving at the end of the episode. Well, Donald Glover had a whole send-off episode, and it was all like really sad that he was
all about
separated.
him like going around the world or something.
And Pierce as well. He
dies.
Yeah, they interrupted episode halfway through to say, or like near the end to say, Pierce is dead, and the whole episode stops and never gets like resolved, just because whatever stupid shit they were doing is just like pales into the comparison that one of the main characters has died. And then the next episode that's all about his death too, because they all come back from his funeral and then they all get interrogated to see if one of them committed his murder.
Wasn't that like a hologram Pierce?
Maybe at some point,
because he was like really weirdly rich, so and he made really strange inventions, and one of them was like a hologram Pierce.
The whole interrogation is supposed to like where he reveals like secrets about all of them that will piss off each other, but because he was so rich, no one wants to forfeit their right to whatever he might have left them,
and they can only get the inheritance
if they go through the interrogation. And then the interrogator is called Mr. Stone, and he's really serious. Then it's got this like end credit scene where he's like this really like wacky fun guy, and he was like, "Oh guys, I was dying in there. I had to act serious because of the whole interrogation thing. Oh, and everyone thinking what I'm thinking. Shots." It's like really funny.
And there were the episodes where there's like that like nerd kid who plays Dungeons and Dragons. He's really fat, and they all make fun of him.
Fat Neil.
Yeah, Fat Neil. And then Pierce bullies him into nearly killing himself.
He's a pretty terrible guy, really.
It's like horrible.
Yeah. Have you seen there's a bit as well after that where, because they in that episode they kind of like stopped Fat Neil from killing himself. Jeff says, "Oh, because of what we did, Fat Neil is still around doing this and that in the background." And in the background, in the blur bit, you can see Fat Neil walk past. And he says that because he's just kind of like minor character that only got brought forth for that episode. Really, it's like Starburns.
Oh yeah, Starburns.
Because he has like stars. Yeah, a bit halfway through, where like, oh, he had to star sideburns, and Pierce is like, "Oh, is that why he's called that?" It's such an obvious thing. I'm looking at the time now. We've got 6 minutes left, and we've got 2 mandatory topics still to talk about. So
Harry doesn't like jelly. Favourite rest of the Cold War.
Harry doesn't like jelly was a real resort.
Can we?
That was a real.
Let's topic. No, quickly. Let's talk about favourite rest of the Cold War, and then we can finish off with Harry doesn't like jelly.
Well, what's your favourite event of the Cold War? Or one of your favourites? Since I've done a few of these now.
I really enjoy the.
This is great.
No, it's a mandatory part. It's a mandatory part.
I like the bit of the Cold War where the Russians went to America and they tried to open a gate to the Upside Down.
Oh man, hey guys, I haven't seen Stranger Things season 3 yet. I have seen Stranger Things season 3.
We used to watch it together, didn't we?
Yeah, we did watch it together, but that didn't happen. So my favourite event of the Cold War is when they invaded. Was it Vietnam on Christmas? The Russians Afghanistan on Christmas or Christmas Eve. I just think that's very seasonally appropriate. Like Merry Christmas, have some.
The Americans invaded Vietnam.
It was the Russians because the American... Actually, it might have been the Americans. No, because the Americans funded terrorist groups to try and overthrow the Russians, didn't they?
North Vietnam was...
No, I'm thinking of Afghanistan. I'm talking about Afghanistan.
North Vietnam became communist with Russian or US Soviet influence, so the Americans funded and aided South Vietnam in order to fight the North and try and defeat the communist.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that today. I'm talking about the Soviets invading Afghanistan on Christmas, and then that leading to the end of Baton. So, what's your favourite part of the Cold War?
Well, you've stolen a good one there. I liked when they tried to expand through Europe, and there became the Iron Curtain split through Europe between the East and the West.
Yeah,
and I like watching the maps over the years of how the country
changes
slowly turn red as it the tide sweeps over Europe. The tide of communism. It's a classic. I mean, that's obviously.
And now,
favourite events of the Cold War. I like how when I point to favourite events of the Cold War, you thought I was pointing at Harry doesn't like jelly.
So let's talk about
backup topic.
Last 3 minutes and a half. Harry doesn't like jelly. We don't need to talk about the bowl topic. We can save that for another day. I'm saving that for 2 weeks.
That was the quote unquote main topic we're going to talk about, and we haven't talked about it.
I'm saving that for 2 weeks time.
So that was your topic for today, but 2 weeks time is going to be your topic.
What's your go? Well, because we'll have the guest one next episode, and then it'll be my turn again.
Oh, I guess.
I guess if we want to do it like that.
It's the guest turn on the guest episode, isn't it?
So, you don't like jelly? Discuss.
I don't like the texture of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like how it's not really squidgy as much as it is kind of
like it's like wet as well.
Choppy. It kind of like
it's got it has like chewiness to it, but not as much as it should.
Off. It's not chewy. That's the thing.
You can chew it, but it's like one chew and it's done.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of you slice right through it. You know, I feel like it should be more gelatinous.
Do you not like how smooth it is when you cut into it?
No,
it's like completely smooth.
Not at all. I don't like the flavour really, but.
Do you like jelly with fruit in it?
A lot of it varies.
Do you like jelly with fruit in it a lot more?
I've never tried it, but it sounds bad.
You've never had jelly with fruit?
I mean,
I've never had like a trifle.
I've had like fruit flavoured jelly.
But you've never had jelly with actual solid fruit like embedded in it?
No. I mean, I now can't eat jelly really because it's got gelatin.
Oh, Harry's a vegetarian soy boy. What do you want?
But I kind of, I hadn't eaten jelly for about 5 years before I became a vegetarian.
Maybe that's why you became a vegetarian, because you don't like jelly.
I hated jelly so vehemently, or I was like, well, I'm not eating jelly, so I might.
I'm not eating jelly. That's basically all the foods.
Yeah, so basically
all major food groups have been covered.
the only thing I was eating before I decided on my hatred. I mean, really, now we've got 2 minutes left, and you've committed us to talking about jelly for 2 minutes.
No, because I have another
It's really difficult for you to manage.
Well, there are different types of jelly, but let's not get into that. So, as you may have noticed, as the background for
close to the microphone,
as the background for all of these videos, there are cat videos. Harry, if you have any, that'd be great. They're usually supplied by Harry or just other people. Like, for example, the one last time was Jamie's cat, I believe.
Oh, that's cool.
Although
he was on the
exactly,
episode.
How crazy is that?
That's why you gave the video, because you were like, anyone got any cat videos? And he was like, I do.
But if you have any cat videos that you wish to send in, or any other pets, we could spice it up a little with like a guinea pig. Gordon Ramsay cooked and ate he ate a guinea pig and said it was delicious.
What?
And critics were coming at him for that. Anyway, if
you
have any if you have any videos of pets or anything that you would like to send in, please let me know.
Or
because
videos of meals, like
no, guinea pig future meals, because we're running out of cat videos. So if you want to help the cast and you want your pet to be on the cast, we could give a shout out if you want a shout from a 50 subscriber YouTube channel.
The cast as well. It's like if you search up Impending Doom podcast.
It's the first thing to come up.
Cast, and you know it's got the list of names.
Yeah, because we're such a massive team.
Impending Doom podcast. I like how it's like, it's the first thing to come up. We deliberately named it so it wouldn't get mixed up with anything else.
Wrong. I deliberately named it.
Yeah, I think it's like with bands. I feel like you don't want to name your band something that gets mixed up with other stuff. You want to name it so that if they search it on Google, it's going to come up.
That's why they're all crazy things like
films and TV shows too.
Speaker Freak.
I mean, no. Actually, it was. I couldn't find
Radiohead.
I couldn't find Speaker Freak when I searched it. Radiohead is because that is the name of a song from someone.
That's really exciting. This has been the Impending Doom podcast. Say bye, Harry.
I've reached an hour. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, Dr. Nick.